Deep in the heart of the wilderness, where survival is the only rule, kindness isn't something you expect. Yet every so often, the wild surprises us with a story that defies the laws of nature, a story of trust, compassion, and an unbreakable bond. Today, we're sharing an incredible tale about a man, a wolf, and the remarkable way this creature repaid an act of kindness. Ethan was no stranger to the wilderness, a seasoned wilderness guide and photographer. He spent his days hiking through dense forests and snowy mountains, documenting the raw beauty of nature. For him, the wild wasn't just a place, it was home. But the wilderness isn't always peaceful. It's a world of predators and prey, where even a small injury can mean the difference between life and death. Ethan understood this, but what he didn't know was how one encounter would forever change his understanding of the bond between man and beast. It was a chilly winter morning when Ethan's path crossed with destiny. As he made his way through a remote trail, he noticed tracks in the snow, large paw prints, irregular and scattered, as if something was struggling. He followed the trail and found a sight that sent shivers down his spine. A wolf, majestic yet vulnerable, lying injured in the snow. Its leg bore a deep wound, likely from a trap or a fight with another predator. It was weak, struggling to stay upright, and its piercing amber eyes met Ethan's with a mix of fear and desperation. Ethan knew the risks. Wolves are wild, powerful animals, and an injured one could lash out in fear. But he also knew he couldn't leave it to die. Taking a deep breath, he decided to help. Carefully and calmly, Ethan cleaned the wound with water from his canteen and wrapped it in a makeshift bandage. The wolf growled softly but didn't resist, as if sensing Ethan's intentions were good. For hours, Ethan stayed by its side, offering water and small pieces of food from his pack. He couldn't leave the wolf alone in the wilderness, vulnerable to predators or the cold. So, Ethan set up a temporary camp, keeping watch over the injured animal through the night. It was a long, intense evening, but by morning, the wolf had regained some of its strength. When the wolf was strong enough to stand, it limped back into the forest. Ethan watched it disappear into the trees, hoping it would survive but assuming he would never see it again. Life went on for Ethan. Weeks later, he was guiding a group of hikers through the same forest, sharing stories about the land and its wildlife. But as the group made their way along the trail, Ethan noticed something unusual, a pair of yellow eyes watching from the shadows. It was the same wolf he had rescued. At first, it kept its distance, following the group silently, always staying just out of reach. The hikers were nervous, but Ethan assured them there was no danger. He couldn't explain it, but he felt the wolf wasn't there to harm them. That night, the group camped near a river. As the others slept, Ethan sat by the fire, reflecting on the day. Suddenly, a series of low growls pierced the silence. He grabbed his flashlight and stepped into the darkness, heart pounding. The wolf stood at the edge of the campsite, its posture alert and tense. Following its gaze, Ethan saw movement in the shadows. Another pack of wolves, their eyes glowing in the firelight. Ethan realized what was happening. This was the wolf's pack, but instead of leading them toward the campsite, the scarred wolf was holding them back, growling in warning. It was protecting the very human who had saved its life weeks earlier. The pack eventually retreated, disappearing into the darkness. The scarred wolf lingered for a moment, locking eyes with Ethan one last time before vanishing into the trees. It was a moment Ethan would never forget. A wild animal, driven by instinct, had chosen to repay an act of kindness with loyalty and protection. This wasn't just a story about survival. It was a reminder of the profound connections that can form between humans and the natural world. Ethan's kindness had bridged the gap between species, creating a bond that defied the harsh rules of the wild. Wolves are often misunderstood, seen as dangerous or unapproachable. But this story shows us a different side, one of trust, loyalty, and even gratitude. It's a testament to the power of compassion and the incredible ways in which nature responds to it. The wilderness is full of stories waiting to be told. Stories of bravery, kindness, and the extraordinary bonds we share with the creatures who call this planet home. Let this tale inspire you to show compassion, not just to humans, but to all living beings. If this story touched your heart, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more stories that celebrate the beauty of our shared world. Together, let's honor the magic of nature, one story at a time.